Ooh, woo! 4 game checks. Boy, that's gonna hurt. So Antonio Callaway has officially been suspended 4 games by the NFL for violating the substance abuse policy. Now, in the NFL, the substance abuse policy is called the program. The program is where you go when you fail a P test. Now, the thing about it that you got to understand, and what really causes more of a concern when it comes to Callaway's value after this, is that when they suspend you 4 games for substance abuse, for failing a piss test, it's not the first piss test you failed. A lot of people don't know this, but when you fail a piss test in the NFL, you are then registered into the NFL's program, the substance abuse program. Now, with that, the substance abuse program is initially a confidential registration. So no one knows that you're in the program. Nobody on the team knows. The owner doesn't know. Your reps don't know. Your team reps don't know. It's confidential as confidential gets. You're a number on a piece of paper, and they don't, provide your information or why or about whether you're in the program or not. So basically, it's kept behind under wraps. Yes, you're in the program. Yes, you're going to have to go get evaluated by the NFL. The NFL has people, a third party that they use, that will evaluate you. And from there, you then get regular drug screenings. Those screenings come randomly at any point during, the football season and the off season. So it's not just during the season, but also after the season. And you are in that program for 2 football seasons. 2 football seasons. Now, why is that big? That's about 1.5 years. That's some serious probation for you to be in once you're or be on once you're in the NFL drug program. Now, that in and of itself is an inconvenience for players, sure, but at the same time, you haven't lost any money. You haven't been suspended for any games. And as long as you're compliant, life goes on. You continue doing what you do, take care of business, keep your nose clean, and you move forward. Once you get out of the program, you're out, and your counter kind of resets. So now, if you happen to fail the test after that, then you would just start you all over from the beginning. But with Antonio Callaway's situation, he's now been suspended for 4 games. That's tough, especially for a second-year player in the NFL. That means that at this point, you're not a player that they can rely on. So, because of things that were in his control, that have led him to this point, he may now, they may be drafting his replacement next year. They may sign his replacement midway through the season. He may not even be on the roster by the end of the year. These are all possibilities, folks. They're all possibilities. Now, when it comes out to the public, that means you failed a few tests. That's basically what that means. So now they're going to have to, you're going to have to be, suspended. And initially, if you fail a test after your initial failing, it's not that you fail the test. You take tests until you then no longer have any, you test clean and there's nothing in your system. So you keep testing. Once you're clean, then boom, that's when any failures become strikes. So for him to be suspended 4 games, that means he failed a piss test the first time, got initiated and registered into the program, went through that period, I guess, where they test you and make sure your levels are dropping, and then you're clean. And then now, at this point, he has failed 2 tests after he was clean. Because the first test you fail, they'll take your game checks. They won't suspend you. They'll just take those game checks. You'll play for free. The next time you fail, the second time, then you're suspended for 4 games, and they take 4 game checks. So he's already crossed a few bridges to get to this point, which could be, a red flag for, bigger issues with him. That personally, if he is having any kind of real issue with substance abuse, I know that, we look at things like marijuana and we say, okay, it's weed, whatever. But, whatever it may be, I hope that he just realizes at this point in his very young career that he needs to fully comply with what's going on, because it's not a game anymore. They just took 4 game checks, bro. They just took 4 game checks. Don't get it twisted. There are 100 before you and 100 after that look at this and don't take it seriously, and then they're out of the league before you know it. Because at the end of the day, it's not that you smoke weed. It's not that you drink. It's that you can't pass a piss test, which means you're not going to consistently be available for your team, and that means you're not reliable. Your value is in your availability as well. If you're on the field, if you're in practice, if you're at games, you have value. When you're producing, you become a core player. You have value. But when you're failing piss tests and getting suspended and getting fined, these types of things really can hurt your career. And this guy's a young player. I'd hate to see something like that happen to him. But, hey, man, now it's time to get your shit together, because them boys just got your checks. Now they got your money. They're taking your livelihood. And that's one thing we always said to each other in football when I was playing, was we worked too damn hard to give them back the money. We worked too hard to give them back our money. So do everything you got to do to make sure that you keep as much of that money in your pocket as possible. And as it sits right now, as a second-year player, 4 game checks, that's going to hurt. Best of luck to you, my boy, Antonio. I hope you get it straight, man. But unfortunate, could have really had a breakout season this year, produced for your team, and put yourself in a good position for a nice, healthy future. But, you got some steps to take before you get there. So those are my observations. This has been your Observant Lineman, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace.